So I'll mute you all now, and hopefully I'll remember to check if anybody's in the waiting room trying to get in halfway through. I'm not good at remembering that.
Doesn't give you a very good.
Right, just bear with me for a second. I'll share my screen. And slideshow activated. I know a couple of people just joined and didn't get to hear all of our gossip prior to, but this slideshow is just the same as in the main presentation. So I won't go into it in detail. I'll sort of whiz through it fairly quickly, maybe a 10-minute presentation. And then, you know, the more exciting part's the Q&A at the end. So we'll get into that then. But what would like, just got to remember, some people probably don't know what Futurefx is at all. Futurefx is a company I started early this year, or at the start of this year. And that was sort of on the back of me learning to code and creating my own automated trading softwares. Made them for myself, but some friends of mine wanted me to work a bit harder and make them available to everybody. So I had to learn how to make websites and all that then. But without getting into that too much, and I'll just get through what's changing. I'm just bringing in a new website and also adding a referral program to that membership and adding a few new benefits to that membership. That's really what's going on. So let's go through the membership benefits to start with. This is what you get for being a member of Futurefx. And so it's, when I say membership, it's just like any other membership. You know, you might have a membership with Costco to get cheaper products. You might have a membership with gyms so you can use all their equipment and that. Same sort of thing. You're just paying a membership and you'll either get free use of or a big discount on certain Futurefx products and everything. So we have trading education. That's education on how to manually trade and on how to use different EAs. That stands for expert advisor. That's just an automated trading software. So manual trading education and education on using EAs. Some of that will be general information on using any EAs, but most specifically, obviously, the Futurefx EAs. This one's a new benefit that only I think there's 4 other people besides myself have got money in this PAM trading account. We only started it 3 weeks ago, so we've done 3 weeks of trading on it. So this will be a new benefit. And what a PAM trading account is, for those that don't know, it stands for Percentage Allocation Money Management. Very technical. But essentially, it's just like a pooled trading account. And it's all managed through the broker. And the PAM manager, which in this case is me and the cost averager software, has access to trade those funds, but they don't have any other sort of access. What I mean by that is they can't initiate a withdrawal and take your money or anything like that. Only you can withdraw any funds. Generally, a PAM account, and this is just being very general about, you know, there's a lot of different PAM accounts you can access out there, but you don't really know too much about them. So unless you know who they are and what they do and what their track record's like, you wouldn't really want to get involved. But generally, they can have a 20 to 50% performance fee. A performance fee is just, you know, like it means that the PAM manager will get to keep 20 to 50% of all the profits he makes using your money. And that's fine. That's, you know, they don't have an issue with that. They're doing the work, they deserve a cut. But the Futurefx PAM account, we only have one at the moment, but we do plan on bringing in a few more. We'll just have a 5 to 10% performance fee. 5 to 10% because depending on how nice I feel at the time. No, depending on there's different offers you can have. So generally, because there's a referral program involved, generally it's going to be everyone starts on a 10% performance fee. And once they have referred 3 or more people, they can go down to a 5% performance fee. Now that 5% could become quite a huge savings over time. Other PAM accounts, they can also have like deposit fees, withdrawal fees, monthly management fees. They can have maximum and minimum withdrawals and deposits. There's none of that with the Futurefx one. So the only fee is that 5 to 10% of the profit. So if no profits are made for the month, then you don't pay anything. You don't pay anything. Futurefx doesn't get anything out of it. It's only if profits made that we get our little slice of the pie. Okay, other benefits of membership with Futurefx is a 40% discount on all the Futurefx automated EAs. So that's all our current softwares, any future trading related softwares that I haven't even thought about making yet. If I do at some stage, you'll get a 40% discount on them as well. And so all of the automated softwares at the moment sell for $500 for a yearly subscription. So a 40% discount, that's straight up, that's a 200% savings for a $50 membership. This one here is a new benefit to being a member that's just being introduced when the new website goes live, and that's free use of the Futurefx Advanced Trade Manager. I won't go into too much. It's something that you use a software to help manage your trades if you're manually trading, but it does a lot of the legwork for you. I won't get into what they are, but you just have to take my word on at the moment that it has a lot more features and a lot more advanced features than most trade managers out there. Live Zoom calls with the software developer. Now, I know I'm patting myself on the back here because I am the software developer, but being able to chat one-on-one with the software developer on how he uses the software, how you can better use the software, all of that is, quite valuable. We're going to have live Zoom calls. So there's a lot of recorded education on using the softwares. There's also going to be live Zoom calls on using the softwares and to help people set up the softwares, that sort of thing. And so this is going to be a new one. So there's 3 new things we're bringing in really is the PAM accounts, the Advanced Trade Manager, and the live Zoom call, live trade calls. So they'll be Zoom calls, but where we do live trading. Sometimes that'll be manual trading, and it won't only be me. I'm a bit of an expert with using automated softwares, and especially using the ones I've developed. And I'm not too bad with the old manual trading, but there are better people out there, and some of them I know quite well, so they're going to be helping out there as well. So whether it's using an EA or doing the manual trading live calls, you can benefit as a member by joining in and just seeing how it's done. That'll help you to fine tune your EA trading or your manual trading. And of course, totally up to you, but you're welcome to just, if you see somebody you think's doing really good with their trading and they're running the call and they take out a trade, you can just take out the same trade on your MP4 platform, just copy the trades. That's an option that you would have. And education on risk management / money management. In my opinion, with trading, the risk management side of things is the hardest, probably not only the hardest thing for people to get the hang of, because I think like our trading education is what I would call just basic trading education, the basics, the fundamentals that you need to know. You wouldn't want to do like manual trading without that basic education under your belt. But as far as I'm concerned, that basic training is enough to make you profitable if you can also get yourself with good risk management. And good risk management, it can get tricky even if you know what you should be doing. When you're dealing with your own money, you get excited and you get scared and all that. So you can't really have good risk management until you've had a lot of practice. And money management, same sort of thing. Even like with the PAM trading account, you don't have to do anything, make any decisions yourself as far as the trading goes, but you still want to have good money management. In other words, you wouldn't just blindly throw your life savings in and leave it in there for 10 years, compounding, hoping for the best, because who knows what could go wrong in 10 years. So I'm going to harp on quite a bit. You might get sick of me talking about risk management and money management, because I think not only with trading, but with any sort of investment or anything really, having good money management can make you come out on top where a lot of other people go under. All right, so onto the compensation plan. It's very basic. Nobody will have any trouble understanding it. But as I mentioned before, Futurefx already has a monthly membership, and the cost of that membership is $50 per month. This is 50 Australian dollars per month, which is whatever, depending on where you live. But in US dollars, it's about $32 a month. So at the moment, people are paying that $50 membership to access the benefits, and Futurefx gets to keep 100% of that. Now we're going to start giving 85% of that back to you guys, the members, by way of commissions. So it's just a basic uni-level referral system that pays out over 6 levels. Basic diagram here, just for those that don't know much about a uni-level referral system. And I know I've probably run out of my 10 minutes already that I said I'd knock it over in, but so we've got your level 1, you're getting a 40% commission on. So this guy, Des, he's referred these 5 yellow people. So he's going to make a 40% commission on that, so, which is based off that $50 per month, is $20 per person. So he's already, from referring 5 people, he's making $100 a month. And just to quickly go through this, level 2 pays out 20%, 10, 9, 4, 2, oops. So that's the 6 levels that you get paid out. These people here, these 3 people here, Chad, Don, and Terry, they're on Des's level 7. So he won't make any money from them at all, unless, let's say, Dan here hasn't paid his membership. That'll mean he's not qualified to earn commissions. So these commissions will roll up, which will essentially mean these guys will pay out as a level 6 for Des, if that makes sense. So I want to run through a quick example just on the compensation plan. And I'm going to use 3 people. If just with everybody that joins, if they refer 3 people themselves, the reason I've come up with 3 is simply because that'll earn you $60 per month. It's costing you $50 per month. So you're in profit if you do that. So I think that should be, the first goal for everybody is to refer 3 people. Then, they're making profit. And if these 3 people refer 3 each, you end up with 9 on your level 2, 27, level 3, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And these are the figures you'd be making per month off each level. Now, some people may look at this figure here and think that, that's a lot of people. There's no way I could ever do that. But the point of this is you haven't. All you've done is referred 3 people yourself, and preferably, they're probably 3 people maybe you know them quite well, and then, help those 3 find their 3 each, by, helping them with resources and information about the company and sharing their results, that sort of help, so that those 3 people can find their own 3. After that, you may have absolutely nothing to do with all these people coming on board. It's not going to happen overnight, but over time, all these people will refer people, et cetera, and the grand total would mean that you're making $1,800 per month just from the compensation plan. And that's without even getting into the trading side of things, which is what Futurefx is all about. Obviously, FX stands for Forex. So let's go through the way that you can actually earn from trading through, with Futurefx. The PAM account, obviously. And I know this is going to be hugely popular and probably one of the main reasons people get involved and all of that. But it's definitely not all that Futurefx is all about. Because up until now, so Futurefx as a company has been operating successfully for what month is it? For almost 10 months now, without a PAM trading account. Without this being part of Futurefx's company, so to speak. So the other things that we've had going for a while now, predominantly the Futurefx EAs. So you can put money into the PAM. That's a nice, completely hands-free passive way of earning. We've got the Futurefx EAs that you can purchase at that big discount and use them yourself to make profit. You can use the education we provide and the advanced trade manager to manually trade and earn profit. You can jump in on the live trade calls and learn and /copy trade and earn that way. So that's how you can earn. Now I'm going to go through a example. And I do always hesitate at giving an example because it tends to sort of set a precedent, set an expectation. And I want to be clear on the fact that they're really, it's only an example. It simply can't be guarantees. There's no way people can give you a guarantee on what can be made from trading because it's so up and down, so volatile, so different from one week to the next. But if you were to make 3% every week and you started with $1,000 account, if you compounded that after 1 year, you'd have 4,000, 2 years, 21. After 3 years, you'd crack the 6 figures. And after 4 years, you'd be pushing close to that $500,000. All big flash figures. I think an example is necessary, though, for people to understand the potential of trading and the potential of compounding. Now,
It's full of shit.
there's nothing inaccurate about this. If you were to make exactly 3% every week, week in, week out, these are the exact figures that you would make. But you're not going to make exactly 3% a week. Even if averaged out over that whole time, it did average out at 3%. The 1 week might be a 10% profit. Another week may be, a 1% profit. You might have a couple of weeks of a loss. It's completely big differences, much better results and much worse results, even if the average is 3%. And that's going to affect these figures here. Sometimes it'll affect it positively, sometimes negatively, but it will affect it. And also, these figures here, while they're accurate, I will be really teaching people through the money management side of the education not to do that. Not what I mean is not to put your money in there and leave it there compounding for 4 years without touching. I just don't think that's good money management. Totally up to everybody to do what they want, but for me, without getting into the money management too much, but basically what I'm meaning is, sometime during this first year, I would be, this is me personally, I'd be looking to withdraw my $1,000 so that I don't have any actual financial risk anymore. I've got all of my money I put into it back. And then on the subsequent years, be doing regular withdrawals, withdrawing every month a certain figure so that I'm accumulating profit along the way. That way you're covered no matter what happens. You've got your money back and then you've got profit and nothing can take that away from you. Well, that's really the end of the slideshow, guys. That's just everything we've mentioned already. And I'll go through this. It's not really part of the presentation, but red flags, this is just to keep everybody on the straight and narrow a bit. If anything related to trading or probably related to any sort of investment is giving you guaranteed returns, guaranteed returns, telling you you're going to make a certain amount every week, anything like that, big red flag. If it's trading related and they won't show you any proof of trading, huge red flag. Showing the proof of the trading is the simplest thing in the world, and I'll show you that and give you my proof in a minute. It's the simplest thing in the world. There is absolutely no reason not to show it, none at all. So if they don't show it, you've got to ask why. If people are earning commissions from their referrals trading profits, so if somebody you refer has money in trading or money in a some sort of an investment program, and the more money they put into the investment, the more commissions you earn, that's something to be cautious of. Maybe a red flag, yes, not so much as not showing proof, but that's something to be cautious of for sure. If the company holds your investment / trading funds, even if they say you can withdraw it at any time, they still hold your funds. And while it might all be legitimate and you can withdraw your funds and you have done so, et cetera, the hard, cold truth is if that company goes out of business while they're holding your funds, it's going to be an issue. If they go out of business, it's for a reason, normally a financial reason. It's not going to be simple, if at all possible, to get your funds back if that happens. Plus, just because you can withdraw at any time now, there's no saying they won't, change that. So you can only withdraw once a week or once a month, or, just stop withdrawals altogether. I'm sure we've all seen things like that. This is one that you see often out there, is that they'll have a range of different investment programs. You might make 10% profit in 2 days, and it's only put a small amount in, and then they've got a higher plan to make higher money from, but you've got to invest more money, and they've got a whole range of plans. Basically, they'll pay out on those small investments, tempting you to go and giving you confidence and tempting you to go into the bigger investments where you'll never be able to withdraw from. There's a lot of just outright scams like that out there as well. But that's pretty much it, guys. I will let you unmute yourself if you want to have a chat, got some questions or anything. Nobody wants to talk?
Will that trade manager that you're going to introduce, is that just going to be available through the web page, or?
The website's all completely new, and it's not going to have all the features that I want it to eventually have. So at the moment, really, you'll have to be an active member, and you'll just ask, Futurefx support, and it'll get sent to you directly.
Cool.
But yeah, at some stage, it'll be on a page that only active members can access, and you can just download it yourself.
Yep.
Sure, some people have questions. Didn't come here for my good looks.
Hey, Les.
Oh, hey, Mark. Is that Mark?
How are you? Yes, sir. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good. Thanks for hosting this. First of all, I appreciate it. I wanted to ask a question about the difference between not the difference, but the advantages to using the PAM versus just using one of Futurefx's EAs on your own brokerage account.
The different, like, I know what you're getting at. Automated trading softwares, in my opinion, no matter how good they are, can still benefit from not necessarily manual input, or manual input for sure, but some manual decisions. There's always going to be a range of settings that you need to put in, and those settings may need to be changed at times, things like that. So as automated and as hands-free as EAs can get marketed as, in actual use, some people tend to get a lot better results than others. In point in case, if we're talking about cost averager, which is what I'm using on the PAM, what I do and what I teach people to do is that if let's say you're trading a US dollar pair that day, but there is a did I say an Australian dollar? An Australian dollar pair and there's an Australian dollar red flag news event occurring that day, I would turn off all the Australian dollar pairs and not trade them that day. Now, that's not a very big job. It's very simple, but I see a lot of people that are using cost averager just can't seem to be bothered doing that. They always say they're too busy and all of that, or they forgot and things like that. But if you're into your trading, you understand the economic calendar and red flag news events and how to access them and all of that. But in actual practice, I find a lot of people don't get around to it, and that's generally occurring for trading through those red folder news events is probably 90% of the times that people will take a loss for the day. So that's the benefits. You don't have to do anything yourself. You have to open up a PAM trading investor account and connect it to the PAM Futurefx one. Quite simple. And then other than that, it's completely managed for you. Whereas if you're using the cost averager software yourself, you'd have to add the software to all the different pairs. You'd also have to have your own VPS, which you won't need to do with the PAM. Another issue I've seen with people using the software themselves is, even though they've got it set up, they're doing it hands-free, it's going pretty good, but sometimes the VPS will need an update, just like any computer does from time to time, even just a Windows update. And just recently, a few people that were doing that didn't realize their VPS needed an update because they don't check it very often. And, it had caused the MT4 platforms to shut down, and they weren't receiving, obviously because it was shut down, they weren't getting any trades. And because they weren't checking it often, it went for a couple of weeks before they realized it was an issue. So there's just little things you've got to do to manage it yourself, which you won't have to do with the PAM. That's
Great, thank you for that.
Mike.
I appreciate it. I have not used a PAM before. Could you tell me how the deposits and withdrawals, and if there's any minimum hold periods on deposited funds, and how the tracking goes with regard to your personal return on your personal funds when you have ins and outs happening?
Cool. So it's all managed like the broker is NBFX. They have a whole PAM section of trading accounts, which it's all managed from the broker's side of things. Me or you don't really see how it works, but it keeps track. Even though the funds are essentially pooled and traded, the broker's account software side of things keeps track of your share of the funds, your share of the profits, and all of that. That 5 to 10% performance fee gets automatically deducted from your account and goes to the PAM manager's account at the end of every calendar month. If there's profit been made, that'll go across. Other than that, with MBFX, you personally would just have to open an account with them. You'd have to open up a PAM investor account, and you'd have to fund that PAM investor account. I got a whole video on showing people how to do it, of course, but and then all funding and withdrawals are by way of crypto. But there's no, like, you can request a deposit and request a withdrawal anytime you like. That will be needed to be approved by the PAM manager, which I will most of the time do at the end of every day's trading, unless for some reason I'm carrying a trade over to the next day, which doesn't happen terribly often. Then I'll do it when those trades get closed out. If the PAM manager doesn't manually approve it, it will automatically be approved at the end of every trading week. Did that answer all your questions?
It did. Thank you. I look forward to that piece of it. My last question, sorry to railroad all the questions here, but just last one on the referrals. How does that functionally work? Where am I or we inviting people to in order to get credit and get them linked to our referral tree? Is it to the Telegram, or anyway, I'll let you explain.
So that's the new website that I'm waiting on the finishing touches to, which is what the launch is all about. So once that's all operational, I'll let everyone know, and people can then start to join Futurefx membership via that website. You'll have access to your own members login details. You'll be able to see all your referrals and their referrals, all the usual sort of stuff that way.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the information. Look forward to the launch.
No worries. Thanks for jumping on, Mark.
Oh,
What
hi,
about you?
Les.
Hey, how you going, Noel?
Yeah, good, thanks. I don't know if I'm coming through very clear. Internet's not very good here this morning.
5 by 5,
Um,
like you're in my lounge room.
So everyone's going to have their own PAM account, and you're going to attach the crossed average EA to it.
No, that's
So
not
in the
really how it
foreseeable,
works. You'll have
okay. So
you'll
I
have
haven't
a
got,
PAM investor account with the broker NBFX, and then I'll give you a
right.
link that you just need to click on, which will connect it to the Futurefx PAM manager. And then essentially all the funds are
Okay.
combined, traded as one account, but the broker side of things keep track of your share of it, your share of the profits and all of that. And there's through your NBFX account, you can see all the details of your share of it. You'll be able to see how many funds you've deposited, what all your withdrawals, or the total of all the current open trades. You can see every individual trade, the total result at the end of everything. So all the facts and figures are there for you to look at whenever.
Okay, thanks. That answers all the questions I was about to ask. So
Cool.
yeah, I was just wondering
Good stuff.
whether it's an individual account or all the funds were put in and you were managing just one account or lots of accounts.
Yeah, they're individual accounts, but they end up, once you click on the Futurefx link, it pools them, but not 100%. You know, that your share is still always separate, but I just trade one account that does every month. Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll
no,
make more
thank you.
sense when you actually do it and see it and look at your stats on it all. It'll sort of make sense. And a lot of people have the same questions, but I did myself
And
before I
that's
used the PAM.
yeah, no, I
The
understand it now. Thanks for that.
the main thing you need to understand is that the PAM manager, Futurefx, have no access to your funds other than permissions to trade. And I think that's important to understand because that's what separates what we're doing with Futurefx from some other scammy company that may be telling you they're investing funds, but they're holding the funds themselves. They have access to your funds. So if they decide to steal your funds, they can. Not the case here. You must have a question, Barry. You never keep this quiet. You got to unmute yourself there. You got to unmute yourself, mate. Still muted.
Click the button, Baz.
I think he's having an issue. Anyone else? Baz will work it out eventually. Or we'll see him throw his laptop at the wall, one or the other. What about you, Trav? You got any questions, mate? You probably understand it all, so probably not.
Yeah, no, Les, I'm good for now. That answered a lot of questions. Just a couple of things I was thinking of in the background.
Yeah, they were all the questions I was sort of expecting. What I was going to do, which we might as well, was show you the My FX book for all of this. I'll work out where I'm going.
Probably just one thing while you're trying to figure that out, Les.
Yeah.
If we wanted to add more funds into the PAM account that we got open, we use that link that you sent us to open it up with, or will you send a different link?
No, you shouldn't even have to. You can just use that same link I originally gave you. Or you shouldn't have to. Once you've made a start, you should be able to just go to your PAM investor account, click on the cost averager one, which will be the only option you have, and then just near the top there somewhere it'll have a deposit button. You might have to click the three dots to get the extra menu up, but then there'll be an extra deposit option just there.
Oh, perfect.
I'll make up. I probably haven't. That may not be in the video, or it might be right at the end, but I'll make up a lot more videos on all the different procedures. So you guys and all the guys you bring on board have no real issues working it all out. So this is my FX book. And for those that don't know, this is sort of the very best way to not only prove, but to share trading results. But I have seen my FX book results dodged before. But if they're dodged, you won't have these two green ticks. So this tick here is saying that, like it says, it's checked the data coming from the broker and verified it, proving that the trading results are real. This tick here is proving that, in this case, me, is the person in control of the account, because it asks me to change a few passwords to passwords they provide, things like that, to prove that I'm in control, that I can make all the decisions based off this account. So we know the results are real, and we know they're results that I've achieved. In this case, that I've achieved. So if somebody shares my FX book and it doesn't have both of these green ticks, ask questions. Why not, etc. But everybody, by the time we launch, sometime within this next week, everyone will have access to a link. That URL there is actually the link, which will take you to this My FX book, and it's going to show you. And the reason it's the best way of sharing results is you can't. So it's showing everything from the day this trading account was created. So if we have a look up here, this was just last Wednesday, we took a loss on Wednesday. So that was the first loss on this account in 3 weeks. There's no way I can hide that loss. I could show just this little section of results, but then you're going to want to know, then you're going to wonder why I haven't shown the most recent results. So if you have access to this, you can always go to custom analysis, etc., and make it show all the results. So if you have access to somebody's MyFX book link, you're in control of how much data is shown. And generally, it's just showing everything. All the results, all the good, the bad, and the ugly. You can't hide anything. So it's been trading for 3 weeks. It's made 23.79% profit in that time. It's showing the maximum drawdown reach was 8.3%. You can also click on the drawdown button here and you can get to see the drawdown. So, drawdown was big one day, but the rest was much smaller. So this is all, there's a lot more facts and figures on my FX book. What I'm showing you is what you're talking to somebody and they know a little bit about trading. This is info that they're going to appreciate knowing, the maximum drawdown, the average drawdown. Is it always this much, or is that just one day? The average. And as far as the growth goes, has it been a nice steady increase, or has it been, wildly up and down? Like wildly up and down is pretty unpredictable, not as preferable as something that's just a nice regular result all the time. And there's a whole heap more facts and figures, including, this is a good one. Like today, we've made nothing. The markets are closed, obviously not. But last week, because of that loss on Wednesday, we took a 1.7% loss. But that still leaves us 23% up for the month. And we haven't been going more than a month yet, so the yearly results showing the same. We can have a look at the percentages of wins against losses, all of that. And once we get into it a bit more, once we've got a few more months under our belt, this will be a really good one and a good way of sharing results as well. So it's showing what we've made for October, November, December, January. So, you can imagine if there's a whole heap more bars to this chart, it's gonna look pretty good and a great way of sharing the results as well. But that's about it for my FX book as well. Barry's unmuted now.
Ah, Les, yeah, but you
Hey,
answered the question.
mate.
How are you, mate?
Good.
I'm sitting out in the patio on the phone. I was too lazy to get the laptop.
Ah,
Les, I thought you, but you answered the question. Could you put it on a prop account? But the 8% would wreck it.
correct. But also, it's not possible to put it onto a prop account because it's a pooled investment fund that we're trading. It's not something you can put on a trading account. It is a trading account. It's
Yeah,
not like putting an EA on a prop account.
Yeah.
It's you're putting funds into a pooled account that gets traded. It's not you putting software on your own account. So you couldn't anyway.
That's a starting result, Les.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And on that note, while I'm very happy to have had such a great start for all the various reasons, it also a little bit like giving that example of making $500,000 in 4 years. It's also setting a bit of a precedence as well, and setting expectations high. In that example that I gave in the presentation, that was based off making 3% profit per week. So far, we've averaged, well over 7% profit per week. But up front with you now, I don't expect to average that long term. We'll have really good months, we'll have not so good months and all of that. So I couldn't, even if I tried to, I couldn't give you an average figure about what I think it's going to make long term, because that's, what it makes this year could be different to what it averages next year as well. We'll just have to play it by ear and see how it goes. But as you can see, it's off to a great start.
Hey, after the Zoom call, could we jump on the phone for 10?
Sure, mate. No worries.
Yeah.
Any more questions, guys? And I'll click the end record button, and then you can do whatever.
Hey, Les. Sorry, Mark again. I do have one more
Good.
question.
No,
Do you have a one of the Futurefx EAs that would work or is suited for prop firm accounts?
Yeah, I do personally use Cost Average as the same software on a prop firm account as well. It's I just use it on less aggressive settings, really. I trade less pairs. I use a smaller trade size per account balance. Other than that, just exactly the same.
Okay, so it has settings where you can manage
Yeah,
the drawdown.
Cost Average, it's sort of the second software that I created, fully functional EA I created. And the first one, because it was my first one, and because back then it was what I'd put all my effort into, it was my baby, So it wasn't until Cost Average had really started to show more consistent results all the time that I had to let my baby go and prefer the new child, so to speak. But I've really made it very customizable to suit everybody, you know, so you can sort of use default settings on most pairs most of the time, but you know, you can set it to suit your own trading style, your own risk level and all of that. So there's a lot of settings to it, so that you can make it almost do, but suit what you want to do.
Great, thank you. And do you provide guidance on that,
Yeah, for sure.
as far as the settings, if we purchase that particular one?
For sure. And
for
my
use?
new website, on the home landing page, it tells you that we're priding ourselves in customer service and making sure everyone succeeds. So it's on the website. So I've got no choice but to help you out now, Mark.
Wonderful. Thanks again.
Yeah,
You
no,
guys
but
take care.
in more serious note, though, I've already got a lot of recorded education on setting up and using Cost Averager. Plus, anybody that purchases it, I'm happy to jump on and go through it all with them one-on-one anyway. All right, that's it. I'm going to click the stop record button.